So talking about those Nissan, they will be practically full throttle over the hill. And from watching onboards all week, it is very scary.
And then Brendan Lim down there in third position in his consistency. 60 minutes for these drivers, so we should see pit stops out there today with Jacob Reed alongside him. Dustin Hiroder is going to take that third position behind Nick McConos, and Brendan Lim's going to line up behind Jacob Reed.
You see it a lot in the highlights in the supercars. It's going to be oh so important today. Some drivers, if they get damage up the hill, they're going to be slowed down. It's going to be all too important to keep your nose and your wing clear today.
Absolutely. One other thing to mention about the setups, some of those setups win races, the community setups that are given, so definitely something you can do. Nick McConos now has control of the field as the Porsche pace car has pulled off. And coming around the final corner, he's going to wait quite a while. He's not going to launch it. He's going to try and catch Jacob Reed off, and he completely does. Jacob Reed, a little bit of a lurch forward, and Nick McConos waited for him to fall back and punched it and absolutely beats Jacob Reed into turn one. Down they go, and it looks like the Nissan's fairly slow through the corner, but everyone free and clear.
We got a massive wreck in the GTOs. It is absolute chaos.
Billy Rolla is out. Mark Gamek is one of the drivers who's recovered and is going forward. But most of the drivers in the bottom of the top 5, of the top 10 rather, have absolutely fallen out. As we watch a battle between Christoph Lesniak and Brendan Lim. Brendan in the purple machine, Lesniak in that mint, sky blue machine.
And I do see there is some damage to the back of a Lesniak's car. Just up ahead there, you just saw it. It looks to me like he's got a little bit of damage, and that has happened on this lap, and I wouldn't be surprised it was when he was getting past the GTO of Noah Lundberg. There is a very small amount of damage, but it's not affected him yet to Brendan Lim.
Bjorn Van Hicks is still tucked in behind Topi Kortsanimi. They've both fallen back of the GTO leader of Valentine. A tight battle between Lesniak, Lim, Ryan Ware, and Fabian Jungbluth.
Yeah, Lim gets by just there as they hit into the cutting. That he'll take that away. I think Lesniak realized the situation. Let's not try and be a little bit of battling up here. They try to want to catch up to Dustin Hiroder up in third position. Now, we've not talked a lot about for a while, but look at this here. It's Lim, Lesniak, Ware, Jungbluth, and Schwibig all together here. And Laus is trying to catch onto the back. There he is, just in the last moment as they come on by. What a race that would be for Laus Olsen, but just look at them. They've still got a couple laps until they hit that traffic. But they've been through one car on its own. They've already seen the carnage, because look how bunched up they are just after one back marker. Oh, on the 007 cam.
Little slide from Fabian Jungbluth coming down through the cutting, and that's unfortunately going to lead to Hennes Freiberg being right alongside him. You can see them in the background there.
Now, if I'm a Lesniak and I'm starting to bleed some time here with this damage, yeah, I'm looking at when that window opens, and wow, he's still got another 10 minutes before that window opens, unless he wants a two-stop. But two-stopping at Mount Panorama is so tough with how treacherous that entry is. So he's going to have to hold on to this for a bit. He's going to have to accept that he'll need to use the slipstream. He is actually struggling to keep with Ryan Ware on the slipstream that's behind him.
Doug Cloud, the GTO is absolutely having such a big incident at the beginning of this race. 10 cars so far have taken to pit lane already, and we're not even 10 minutes into this race.
Valenteus was a 9K driver. Was. Not that he cares, not that he minds. Unfortunately, in this same scenario earlier in the week, he had a driver who just made the wrong move going up the hill to get by him, and it absolutely took out Valenteus. So was the key word. He won't get it back today. However, you know that he'll keep fighting for it, like Laus Olsen is, like Ryan Ware is against Brendan Lim. Very tight here. That's an important corner. Get the exit right. And it's so tough to get the exit right at the Forest Elbow. You can see that Ryan's not done it very well, because if you get that right, and he had to hit the brake. Brendan just had to hit the brakes. We've been watching Peralta in the replay. That was a miscommunication there from the GTO.
There we see Brendan Lim down in fourth position. He's got Ryan Ware still for company. Ryan has been trying to catch up to Brendan for a little bit now, but just been catching afoul of the traffic at the top of the hill. Speaking of the traffic, the cars are fairly spread out across the lap right now. We have a gigantic mob of cars on the start-finish straight right now. But otherwise, the cars are fairly evenly spread out across the entire lap, which is bad news for the GTPs.
it's bad news, but at the same time, there's still those pockets that are bunched up together. We're talking about that midfield battling the GTOs that are still packed up together. And there's a little bit of a gap between second and third, but it's still there. So the likes of Brendan Lim here, yes, he's catching Ryan Ware, sorry, catching Brendan Lim. There's Ryan. There's still chances. Remember, we've only just had 22 minutes of a 60-minute race. These guys still have to get around. This almost turns into, well, it is an endurance round, but this turns into an endurance like it is, again, the Bathurst 12 hours around here, Adam. Getting around is fine. You've got to keep it clear. I did see some sparks flying from Ryan Ware, touching the wall on the exit the Forest elbow. You can do that so many times. Do it too many times, and you may be getting a flag from Barney to tell you to come to this.
Absolutely. So, still looking at Ryan Ware trying to catch up to Brendan Lim. Nick Mecanos at 3.5 seconds over Jacob Reed. Taking a look once again, Ryan Ware right on the back of Brendan Lim now. He's going to have a couple opportunities to make this pass before he gets up to the top of the mountain. But he's going to have to get a good exit off of turn 1 to make it happen.
Yeah, he gets a really good exit on the chase there. Not sure he's going to be looking down into Murray's corner. Unless it's the last lap, you won't really see many people go for a dive into Murray's corner. Even with the multi-class traffic here, you don't see that in that case. So look at the lap times. 50 flat, sorry for Ryan Ware. 50.6 for Brendan Lim. Really get it going, but I just saw him mount that curve, the exit curve. He's lost a tenth just on that itself. I know that doesn't sound a lot, but you look at it, he cannot catch up to Brendan Lim. He's just made that tenth back with the slipstream, and then another tenth. It is oh so treacherous, that corner. We've seen one man go inside too much and lose it. We just saw a man go too wide, and look what it cost him.
Cost him the opportunity for a pass, and now he's stuck behind Brendan Lim for yet another lap.
We go back to Ryan Ware. He is finally getting that move done down into the chase. That's what we were waiting for. Got the good run out of the Forest elbow, straight into it. He's got that P4 away from Brendan Lim. Brendan now going -1 for the day. Top 3 haven't changed positions.
And take that pit stop and still have a decent pace for the rest of the race. Taking a look right now with Ryan Ware, with Brendan Lim having gotten re-passed Ryan Ware at some point before we got up to the top of the hill, and now they've caught up to this three-way battle that we've been watching for 7th position, the GTOs, as Bertolucci goes into the outside wall trying to stay out of the way of the GTPs.
Yeah, Bertolucci goes into the wall. They come over to McPhillamy. Hard on the brakes does Brendan Lim. He's had to come to a complete stop. And again, hard on the brakes for Ryan Ware. Nowhere to go. It's so tough there. Technically, the line should be taking the left and then going to the right. In a normal GT car, Adam's going to slap me over the wrist if I've got that wrong for the GTOs. I think Fonseca was out of place there, probably trying to keep safe where he was. In fairness, he held his line, and again, he tried to go back to the racing line, and this is just a little bit of miscommunication, I feel. Technically, if you're that GTO, you're the slower class, you should be going back to the racing line, but just after a corner, Adam, you kind of have to just stay put for a while those faster cars come by.
Well, I think Carlos was just not confident that Brendan was going to drive effectively around him, so he starts to try and solve the problem himself, and that can lead to miscommunication. It's way better if you're the faster car to just make a confident move, even if it's the wrong move, even if it ends up being the wrong move. Just making a confident move. If you start to train other drivers that you are a confident driver and you're just going to stick it in, the other drivers will respect that, the slower class. Now, sometimes they're going to stick their nose out and make sure that you stay behind, because if you get that reputation, they're going to communicate fairly clearly to you, hey, I'm not letting you past yet, you can't go by. So it is a give and take, as we see Brendan Lim, very assertive. That's the kind of move that we're looking for. He loses a little bit of time, but he made it really clear to Alex Moss that he was going to dive right by. And Alex Moss didn't have to change anything, and Brendan Lim didn't lose that much time.
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago, Alex Ott in a race in this series, he did some really good moves at Watkins Glen, and he still has it clipped at him, and every now and then he likes to bring it out, and he's going to watch this back, and he's going to ping me later and show that clip. It's me saying that he's done some really good multi-class ethnics there, because he is the type of driver that he will do that confidence. That's why we love watching Valenteus. We go through the traffic when he's in the GTP, because he just gets in. Once he puts his nose there, you know he's doing it. You understand that that's what he wants to do. And it's just really nice to see. And I know there's some other content creators online who have done the big line where it goes around. He keeps it out of the wall. He's going to be in a battle for 6th and 7th now. That was just too hot on the throttle. In fact, he's going to lose these positions. Oh, he's going to have to get all the way back up and get past more GTO cars. If I'm Coultonemi right now, Adam, I go back to what I said 15 minutes ago. I wouldn't be looking to be the aggressor down this straight. I'd look to try and fuel save, just be a little bit of economy. When you've got Brendan Lim right behind you, you're not going to be able to use that slipstream to your advantage, because he's going to give Van Hicks a nice little tow coming down the hill.
Brendan Lim is in the pits from 3rd position. He for 4th position, rather. He's going to drop down a couple of spots and might even fall behind that other battle that we were watching earlier on.
Keep your eyes out for Brendan Lim. He's in no man's land at the moment, it's safe to say, in 4th place. He's 43 seconds behind Dustin Hiroda. The pace that the top 3 have been doing had been quite insane today. And I'm seeing a battle for 4th place. This is Ryan Ware battling Brendan Lim. They probably also know it's not white flag. Now they're a minute behind. I wonder if one of these drivers have to start doing some fuel saving, because all of a sudden some drivers may have a little bit of a panic. Malte Schneider as well. He's had to come into the pit. He's had a moment just on the final lap. That's so unfortunate. Hardware failure. Ryan Ware is still battling. Ware get P5. Lim get P4. That's Josh Brain. Just comes across the line.
Final results. Jacob Reed takes the win here, with Nick McConos coming home in a close second after crossing the final lap with 13 seconds of a lead. Reed had to save fuel, and Nick McConos comes home only half a second behind. Dustin Hiroder was able to coast to the line in 3rd position, with Brendan Lim, Ryan Ware, and Laust Olsen, as well as Alan Berteau, all struggling a little bit on fuel, but they were able to finish on the lead lap. Hennig Freibig is the first driver a lap down, and he's all alone, with Malte Schneider alone on the 2nd lap down. Aitor Santos Galindo, Matthew Cockrum, and Christoph Lesniak all finished 3 laps down. And then it's on to the drivers who had trouble today. Fabian Inglewood retired, as well as Gabri Martinez, Carlos Peralta, and Connor McDermott.
Well, the GCO is going to look very weird once again, because Valenteus once again has to do a lap on his own. He does finish officially 1 lap behind ahead of Johan Van Hicks. Managed to hold off Torpeed Coultonemi with that pit stop strategy, and then Mark Gamak goes up 11 places, avoids the wreck at the start of the race. He finishes in 4th. Alex Mass didn't even need to go through the wreck. He was in the pits. He's plus 13 for the day in 5th, with Josh Brain in 6th. Martin Krajcik will be 7th. Noel Lundberg, he carried a lot of damage at the start of that race. He recovers to 8th after that. Bertolucci will be 9th, and Damian Rodriguez will be 10th. And then, unfortunately, we get to those drivers a couple laps down, and also those who also got caught in incidents. Timothy Reed had to take an early pit stop, and he had to do damage. Did manage to keep on going, though. He finishes 11th. Carlos Fonseca had to take some repairs as well. He was 12th. Mateus Hadval, he finishes 13th. Johanny Cameron will be 14th, and then Roman Bello will be 15th. Ian Haycock was on his roof at the start of the race. He finishes in 16th, and then Doug Cloud retired early in 17th. Villirola, unfortunately, did not see that green flag after the mistake, coming out the corner on green flag into 18th position.
Thank you to the team today. That's Craig, Daniel, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media website and merchandise store, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. As we just said, it is Long Beach next week. That's April 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern.